happening right here in California with frogs and toads. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service sent out a notice of intent to expand the closure of California's forests. This addition spans 2 million acres, 14 counties, and 9 national forests along the eastern spine of California. So you drive straight east here up to our foothills into the national forest, and there's these green gates put up that used to be open for public access, and now they're being closed by the federal government to protect these frogs and toads, is their claim, which are endangered species. It's a fraud because the studies have shown that they wind up killing more of these endangered species than protecting. And we know that the federal government has continued to mismanage the forest, causing out-of-control forest fires. And we've had Defend Rural America meetings on it with experts from the federal fire department, from the federal land management, on and on. You could see that video. I'll put a link to it on our channel, on our YouTube channel. You need to go to defendruralamerica.com, and you can see all the details about it. But the reason I'm bringing all this up is if you don't care about it because you live in the city, you don't think it's going to affect you, it is cutting off public access to 2 million acres of land. And so this is just the beginning of them implementing Agenda 21. And so it's coming on here, and you need to be aware of it because it's a major issue. It's supported by the Sheriff Margaret Mims of Fresno County here. We have politicians getting behind it like Jim Patterson, County Board of Supervisor members like Judy Case and Pachugian. They're getting behind it because they're starting to realize that, and if you didn't know, which you should if you're a viewer of the show, the federal government is out of their jurisdiction, and claiming false authority is the issue here. And so regardless if these frogs and toads are endangered species or not, the federal government does not have the authority to just close off land based on the Endangered Species Act. But they're going to go ahead and do it if we don't stand up and speak out against it, Stuart.
If you don't stand up and do anything about it because it's not affecting you, but it is affecting you, you just can't see that it is, humans will be the next endangered species. I mean, they're trying to depopulate this planet. That's why they don't want us expanding, having children, building things. They want us in 200 square feet so they can control us. I mean, in New York, there was just an article the other day about how they're building basically 200 square foot cubicle apartments stacked on top of each other to see how it works. And they say it's for the homeless, but really it's for when the dollar's devalued so much that no one can afford to live anywhere but those 200 square foot little cubicles. So, and they're all doing this by the endangered species, through the Endangered Species Act. It's all just policies. Oh, that's an endangered species, so now you can't have that land. They don't have any jurisdiction. Just like you said, the federal government doesn't have any jurisdiction. California has jurisdiction over California, okay? So this is all to put us in a Hunger Games style living situation, basically for when our economy collapses, because they're printing so much money right now that that it will collapse. And then once you realize that you should have stood up and fought for our right to this public land, you're not going to be able to because they've already seized everything. They're going to seize. You pay property tax. You don't actually own your land that you are supposed to own, private property, because you pay property tax. And if you can't afford to pay that anymore, they can take your home. So, and it's important like G.I. Jim said, there's an important quote. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, as in, then they came for you, and no one was there to speak for you because you didn't speak out. So it's very important that we all get involved. And these local politicians, well, they better get involved because they're at risk too. They're not exempt from these. That we're going to come to a point where all these politicians that they want, it's an election year, so they don't want to piss too many people off, and they want to get reelected, so they're trying to play patty cake with everyone. But realistically, if you don't support what we're doing with Defend Rural America, I mean, it's not going to matter because power won't matter because there won't be any power but with the elite globalists, period, the federal government. So, yeah, all these local politicians, you better stand up and you better fight this because they want to tax you by the mile. Now, I mean, you're not going to be exempt. I mean, they don't want you moving. They don't want you owning anything. And a local assemblyman or, council member is not going to be exempt.
That's right, County Board of Supervisors. We need you to gather the political will to stand up against the federal government, or they're going to give you federal grants that are going to fund you and your own family's enslavement is what it amounts to. The land grab, 2 million acres, that's 30% greater than the size of Delaware, to give you an idea of how large this land grab that they're doing is here. And it's not that we don't care about frogs and toads. I don't want little frogs and toads to die because humans are killing them, but they misconstrued the issue so bad that they use the wording, quote, habitat restoration. And what that means is to remove all humans and human activity from the area. And so that's what they want. And so we're going to see grazing restricted, like we saw with the Bundy Ranch situation. We're going to see dams being destroyed, like we've already seen up north. We're going to see water diversion, like we've already seen. They're dumping the water straight into the ocean instead of allocating it to farmers here. We're in a state of emergency drought, all behind the Endangered Species Act, which is a whole nother issue. The bogus Delta smelt, that's all bogus. It's come out. They're going to restrict logging. They're going to restrict fire management, which should be in the hands of the county. They're going to go ahead and restrict mining. They're going to restrict travel. They're going to restrict sport fishing, hunting, hiking, camping, any other type of recreational activity is off limits on those 2 million acres. And so you have to ask yourself, is it really worth it when it's come out that the real problem is this virus that spread worldwide by the African clawed frog. And so restricting human access is not going to cause an eradication of that virus. It's spread by an African clawed frog, okay? And so that is what is putting the frogs and toads, the indigenous frogs and toads population at risk, not human activity. It's all a fraud put on by the globalist scientists from the United Nations perpetuating Agenda 21. It's sickening, and we need to stand up. It's global government, New World Order, right in your face here at home, and we're seeing it implemented. So we need to stand up and speak out and take action, and here is the beginning. Stuart and I went to a meeting on Sunday, a small grassroots meeting where people are starting to organize here behind speaking out and taking action, lighting the fire under the politicians, but to get them to actually stand up and take the power that they lawfully have under the Constitution and support the citizens, not some globalist UN agenda from wherever, outer space. far as I'm concerned, because they're so removed from the actual people that live in this area, then they might as well be from outer space. So I want to announce to you the next move here by our little group, and that's going to be a town hall meeting on government overreach, and that's going to be next Wednesday, May 14th, 2014 at Bullard High School. There's going to be 3 speakers there. Darian Amensi, how do you pronounce that guy's first name?
Darian Assemi?
Assemi?
Darius Assemi?
Darius Assemi. He's going to be there to talk about the city of Fresno's 2035 general plan. Brad Matsky is going to talk about Agenda 21, the United Nations Plan for Globalization, which is what this frog and toad issue is all about. And then Jim Long is going to get into more detail about specifics of the yellow-legged frog and the Yosemite toad. And so that's exactly what the names of these frogs and toads that are in question are. So I would urge everyone to come out to that meeting, show your support, ask questions, find out what it's really about, and it should light a fire under you to speak out, take action, inform others, and before they take all of our land away, and like Stuart said, put us in these prison-type 200 square foot apartments for, quote, the earth, when the environmentalists don't address any of the real issues like geoengineering, fluoride in the water, and GMO crops everywhere, just to scratch the surface on the real environmental crimes that are going on every day right in our face.
Don't let them win you over, that's what they're hoping for. They want to shutter your mind and shackle it to the floor. It's not hard to figure out the lies you're being told. There is a playbook, an agenda, a blueprint, a goal. So open your eyes wide enough to see you're the target they are aiming for. You're the enemy. Now in order to defeat them and take back what is yours, you must expose what is evident, what is clearly coming forth. There is a good, there is a bad, there is a side you have to choose. Don't underestimate what they are willing to do. Don't underestimate what they are willing to do. It's a new world that's coming when the old world's dead. The empire is burning down, we're hanging by a thread. It's time to panic, to react, to stop this war. Humanity is rising and the truth is coming forth. Whoa! To